borrow a tent from Scouts or for the snow, or you're going to purchase a tent, you might look for different features in a tent. You don't have to have the best tent, you just need a tent appropriate for your conditions. So if you're below the tree line, near a hut, you can get away with a tent that's not as good as this one. I reckon you could go above the tree line in this tent. It's really, really beautiful. It's got, you might notice it has at least 4 poles there, or 5 poles that I can see. So each time they cross over, they increase the strength of the tent in wind. So this is going to be a pretty strong tent. If you've only got a 1-pole tent or a 2-pole tent, you're not going to be as strong. The other great things about this tent is, look at all the guy ropes. More guy ropes you get, better wind capacity for the tent. The other thing that these guys have done that's really good is they've put a footwell in their vestibule. So when they get up in the morning, they can dangle their feet out the door and put their boots straight on without having to crouch. And if you're a bit older like me, it's important. If you're a bit younger like you, it doesn't matter so much. And this tent also has a great vestibule, so a great room to just put your backpack. So your tent gets a bit packed, lots of stuff in there. It's better to just take what you need into your tent and keep your boots and your backpack and the things you don't need in your vestibule. That gives you heaps more room, allows you to sleep better, you can get dressed easier, all that sort of junk. Always keep your boots outside your tent. You put your boots on inside your tent, you could put a hole through the floor of your tent. So generally speaking, always leave your shoes outside the tent in the vestibule. If you've got a summer tent, you want good ventilation. In the winter out here, you want it to get warm inside your tent. And if you've got a couple of bodies in there and you don't have too much air, it actually raises the temperature by a couple of degrees, and that can make it much more comfortable to sleep in. So you don't want good ventilation, you want actually not too much. So we're talking about the in and out. So you know how you have nylon inners. Some people have a fly type inner, like a gauze one. You don't want a gauze one, so this one's good like that. The other thing to look for, this one would have a problem with getting in and out when it was raining, because I noticed that if you zip this up, the water's going to come straight in on the floor here. So another thing to look out for is, with your access, is snow or rain going to get in if it's raining or snowing? So these are all features you can look at when you're borrowing a tent or when you're buying a tent. Don't feel you have to buy them. The other thing to look for is this thing here, they call it the tub. And if that's not high enough, you can get snow flicked in too easy. So you want a bit of a tub, 10 centimetres, 15 centimetres is good for a snow tent. You can also get snow tents that have little flaps on the fly that come out from here, and if you cover them with snow, it stops wind from getting in. So these pegs here are proper snow pegs. You can see it pretty well here. How long are these ones? Are these 30 centimetre ones? Yeah. So they're really big ones.
How big?
About 30 centimetres.
Yeah.
Rip it out and show us.
Okay, the other thing about these is they've got holes in them too.
You can put it back together later.
So what these holes do is, like, overnight, the snow will freeze in those holes and they'll lock it in. Makes it hard to get out. It's probably worth putting a bit of nylon cord through there so you don't have to take your gloves off and you can rip out your tent pegs, because your hands get pretty cold putting your tent up and taking it down again.
Yeah. Morning, Dave. How was it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. It's nice and toasty and warm in there.